Hello and welcome to the Friday, February 3rd, 2023 edition of the SANS Internet Storm Center's Stormcast. My name is Johannes Ulrich and today I'm recording from Jacksonville, Florida. In diaries, we got a diary by Jesse describing how to keep a rotating set of files with packet captures with a pfSense. pfSense is the rather capable open source firewall distribution. And yes, of course, with all these BSD, Linux and the like systems, tcpdump is the obvious solution here to capture packets. It also easily allows you to keep this rotating set of files. You can specify how big you want each file to get and how many of them to keep. So the second part of this diary post describes how to actually keep tcpdump running like this in pfSense. pfSense, of course, uses a web-based admin interface, and it's nice, of course, to be able to use that interface to schedule this tcpdump command. Well, Jesse walks you through this and explains how to actually then get tcpdump to automatically keep running and also run after a reboot without you having to intervene. And in a blog post by Abnormal Security, some details of what they're calling the Firebrick Ostrich group are being laid out. This group is particularly interested in business email compromise scams. The basic idea of business email compromise is that an attacker impersonates someone either in the business itself, or in this case that is described in the blog post, at a vendor, and then tricks the victim into directing payments to the wrong account. The blog post does a pretty good job in walking you through some of the components of these scams, including like the money mules that are being used to receive the initial payment and then forward it to the attacker. Overall, I don't think this particular attack via vendors that they're describing here is really all that new, but still a very comprehensive and good read in this blog post. It looks like everybody recognized that, yes, malvertising is a thing again. These malicious ads I've mentioned a few times before have a good write-up of one of these campaigns with Sentinel Labs. Sentinel Labs is in particular looking at some .NET malware that's being distributed through these malicious advertisements. Pretty neat malware here. It, for example, includes some Windows Process Explorer drivers, so it's able to terminate processes, and essentially it's very obfuscated. It's actually sort of a little virtualization system in .NET here that makes obfuscation of the attack pretty successful. The particular example that they are showing here is an attack that targets users of Blender 3D. Blender is sort of a 3D ray tracing system, pretty nice piece of open source software that's heavily being targeted here in some of these recent malicious ads that Sentinel Labs is describing here. And then we got additional details regarding two recently patched Cisco vulnerabilities, CVE 2023-2076. That's an authenticated remote command injection in a number of Cisco devices. And the second one doesn't really have a CVE number as far as I'm aware, but it's an arbitrary file write vulnerability that then also leads to code execution. The problem here isn't so much the code execution. That requires authentication, but once the code is being able to execute it, it's the persistence that an attacker may achieve on the device. Since the attacker gains administrative access via this vulnerability, it could then be used to essentially add additional software backdoors and the like that are not easily discovered by just logging in to the device. Well, this is it for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing to this podcast in your favorite podcast application, and talk to you again on Monday. Bye.